Welcome to the Ship's Gonna Happen podcast, number 63. My name is Tony B. In the studio, co-hosting with me alongside me, David B. and Timmy D. Today's topics, we have a driver interview with Mike Lands from Walmart. That should be interesting with all the news going on in the industry. Topic number 2, they're trying to put speed limiters in trucks. There's an organization pushing for that. And David's got supply chain disorder crashing in on us. We are 3 Americans discussing topics that affect the transportation industry. Our views are news-driven and do not express the views of any transportation provider or any business entity that uses any transportation provider. We do it for the transportainment.
Boom.
That's right, transportainment. You can catch us on YouTube, Spotify, Google Podcast, Amazon, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, and our home website, www.ShipsGonnaHappen.com. All you have to do is Google Ship's Gonna Happen, and you will find it in the search section on all those platforms. David B., good morning.
Good morning to the both of you. What a brisk Saturday morning it is today, coming across through Indianapolis. Still making a lot of progress on that 65-70 split right there, and it's looking better. It's not moving fast enough, but it's looking good. It's a little brisk this morning for it's Mother's Day weekend. Happy Mother's Day to the both of you in not literal terms, but figurative terms. So it is Mother's Day weekend, and it's also Kentucky Derby weekend. This show, as all of our shows, brought to you by The Great Divide, 743 East New York Street, downtown Indianapolis. Great place to go to kind of unwind after a Ship's Gonna Happen week and meet it up with the locals, chat it up, have some good food, listen to some good music, and just a great place to go. It's The Great Divide, 743 East New York Street, downtown Indianapolis. Timmy D, it's good to have you back in the studio, my friend. How are you this morning?
I'm doing good. It's good to be back. It's been a couple of weeks. Been out of the office, as they would say out there. So good to see your smiling faces, and good to be back in live in person in the studio. I did a on the road a couple weeks ago, if you guys remember that. That was interesting. I was on my way to Nashville there. It was a good time down there, and Mike's on the hook, which is going to be interesting. See his thoughts. Good driver, professional, and again, probably one of the best at their job out there. So what's up, Tony B?
Good morning. And Mike, welcome to the Ship's Gonna Happen podcast. We're excited to have you on. Or can you read us loud and clear?
Yes, sir. I can hear you loud and clear.
All right. David, you want to intro him?
All right. Hey, this is everybody. We've got Mike Lands on the phone with us this morning. Mike's a driver for Walmart and has some excellent YouTube videos out there. If you would just, give him a listen and watch some of his videos. He does a very good job. Mike, how are you this morning, sir?
I'm doing okay.
Good.
Out on the road right now.
Okay. Where are you right now?
I'm currently on I-84. I'm on an on-ramp, actually.
Oh, okay.
Parked over on the shoulder.
Okay.
In Idaho. Sorry.
Oh, nice. A beautiful country out there, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely gorgeous.
I bet. Hey, Mike, can you give us a little bit of background on how you got started in the industry and to how you are where you are today? Oh
yeah, for sure. I started working in the private security field in 2007, 2008, and I did that for about 5 years or so. Decided I wanted to get out of it. Getting into fights and stuff and arresting people wasn't what I wanted to do anymore.
Sure.
So in 2012, I actually found another YouTuber who did kind of a like on the road vlog channel, and it actually kind of got me interested in getting into the industry. Actually, my dad is a truck driver as well. He's been driving for 20 plus years now, and even though he'd been driving for so long, I never really considered getting into the field. But then I was thinking of ways that I could kind of get out and see the country, and then I just randomly found a couple YouTube channels that kind of gave me a kind of an insight into what life was like out on the road. So I went online and started looking for what the actual process was to getting my CDL and getting out here on the road. And I actually found Central Refrigerated back in 2012. And I just, went online, talked to, put in an application, talked to a recruiter, and I got on with one of those, programs where they'll put you through their school or whatever, and get you your CDL, and then you just sign a contract saying you'll work for them for a certain amount of time. So that's how I got into the industry, and worked there for a little while, and it's been an adventure ever since.
Yeah, it definitely sounds that way. Have you ever reached out to those people that on YouTube that kind of influenced you? Have you ever reached out to them and said, hey, you kind of got me in this business. Thanks for your videos. Have you ever done anything like that?
Yeah, for sure. Unfortunately, I didn't get a response. I'm not sure if the guy that I reached out to does it anymore. I don't think he's uploaded in quite some time.
Okay.
But I definitely did reach out, and then shortly after I got into the industry, I did submit some comments and got some responses for that. But just a couple years ago, I tried to actually reach out in an email, and I didn't get a response, unfortunately.
So how long have you been working for the Cadillac of carriers, as some people might call it? You working for Walmart?
Actually, I just started recently. I started here in July, last July. So I've been here going on almost 10 months now.
Do you like it?
Oh yeah. Whenever people ask me that, I always tell them that I should have come over here years ago, which is a very, very common saying amongst Walmart drivers, that we wish we would have, actually buckled down and came over years and years ago.
You were going to be the second Walmart driver we were going to interview. We had a couple scheduled for a couple weeks ago, and they backed out on us for, I think they had to end up working or something. So we're glad to have you. We're glad to have you on today. So do you push that in your videos, Mike, to have people kind of use you as a reference to maybe get on at Walmart? Do you do that stuff too?
Yeah. I mean, it's not absolutely necessary, to be honest, to get on, but it's a definite help. Like when I applied, I actually got a call back after using another driver as a reference. I got a call back in 2 hours after I submitted my application.
Damn.
Yeah, 2 hours. I've never been called back that fast from any employer I've ever worked for.
How long? Go ahead.
Huh? Oh yeah. So some people do wait for a very long time to actually get a call back, and a lot of times it's because they didn't use a driver as a referral, because people who put a referral down on their application get seen, first. They get priority. So I've talked to people who've sent me emails that have already applied. They applied 6 months ago and haven't heard back.
Wow.
So Mike, the $24 million question is the pay really what it is? Can people really make that money at Walmart driving a truck?
Oh yeah.
It's there?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it is.
Oh yeah, I like it.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so we actually just got raises in February. So before the raises, Walmart was advertising, I think it's 87,500 in your first year. Now that number is a very conservative number.
Wow.
Okay, so they advertise that number, for a reason, because they want to promise low so that you can earn over that, right?
Nice.
So most drivers that I talk to, and I mean, I don't know if it's just the people that I run into and talk to, but most drivers I talk to are making 100,000 plus.
Wow.
Jeez. I'm in the wrong business.
I know. That's awesome though.
Yeah, that is awesome.
You're in the right business. You're just with the wrong company.
There we go. Yeah. Exactly. You say, boom on that one. Yeah. Definitely.
So is that 87.5? You say that's a conservative number. Is that just a standard work week, or are you being ran like a dog and working 7 days a week and never doing anything, never at home?
Does your family see you? Yeah.
Oh yeah. No. We don't do the over the road experience here. We like Walmart drivers work regionally. Okay, so you only operate within your region. The only time that you'll go outside of your region is if your DC is kind of on the limits of where the region lines are. and you might have to move into another region to help them out if they need assistance with something. So like for instance, the region that I work in is basically is most of the Midwest, right? So, but because I'm based out of Utah, and the region that I work in is next to the region that handles the West Coast. Occasionally, if they need help in Southern California, I have to go down there. I was just down there a couple days ago.
Okay.
Right. So we get home every week. Wow. Every single week, and one thing I do want to say about that is that it's not the whole. I'm sure you guys have heard this before, but you work your week and then you go home for 34. We don't do that here. You get more than 34 hours off here. So
are you I'm sorry, Mike. Are you a 5 and 2 guy, a 5 and 3 guy? How is that?
Yep.
Is that
I'm currently a 5-2 guy. We actually just did our bid a couple weeks ago, and we just got the results back. I think last Saturday, and I'm going to be keeping my 5-2 schedule for the next year, which is awesome because that's exactly what I wanted. And this is only after me, being here for 9 months.
Wow.
Right. So we have multiple we have different schedules. We have the 5 on 2 off. Mm-hmm. We have a 5-2 5-3 where your start day and your days off are rotating, where you work 5 days on, 2 days off, 5 days on, 3 days off. Mm-hmm. And then we have 6 2s, 6 3s, 5 5s. So it's 5 days on, 5 days off. 5 days on, 5 days off. Wow. Now, as far as the 5-5 is concerned, there's not many of those positions, and those are really for the guys that have been here 20, 25, 30 years, and they're getting ready to retire, and they just want to slow things down a bit. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so the schedule that I'm on right now, I work Wednesday through Sunday, and when I get off on Sunday, I can get off. Depending on the workload, I get off, late Sunday morning, early afternoon. And then I have the rest of the day Sunday off at home, all day Monday, all day Tuesday, and then I'm back Wednesday morning at work.
Nice.
So how much experience do you have to get on at Walmart? You said you've only been with them for 9 months. How much actual drive time do they require so many hours before you're employed at Walmart? Do you have to do so many training hours? How do you get on one of those bids like that? It sounds like gravy. I hate to say that, but for that kind of money, my gosh.
Yeah. So as of right now, according to their website, it is 2.5 years. So 30 months of experience behind the wheel, driving a Class A commercial vehicle is how much experience is required as of now to actually get on, and then you eventually have to get your hazmat endorsement as well.
How tough is that hazmat endorsement? I feel like it's just a test for the most part, right?
Yeah. Some people do have some issues with it. But most people really don't have problems with the test. It's the background that's usually kind of a pain.
The background check that they run.
Yeah. Actually getting cleared to get your endorsement, because if you've moved a lot, you lived all over the country, or if you lived out of the country, so something like that, it can delay it. So some people have to wait a long time. But as long as you get cleared, you pass the test, get your endorsement, you're good to go.
So, Mike, you were mentioning earlier that your dad's a truck driver. Is he still in the industry?
Yeah, he is.
You need to get him on at Walmart too, then.
Yeah. The only reason he's staying where he is just because he's been there for almost 20 years now, and sure. He's only, I think he's about 2 years from his 20, and then he's retiring.
Oh, okay.
So, if he gets bored after he retires, which happens, 3 weeks after he retires, he's tired of sitting around at home. I might be able to convince him to come over.
You sounded,
or just be a yard jockey, right? You could be a yard jockey for Walmart,
yeah.
Right? That's a position.
Yeah, there we go. So, Mike, you sound and look pretty young. Do you see yourself staying at Walmart until you retire?
Well, yeah, I'm very seriously considering it.
Oh, good.
Very seriously. Yeah. Now, whether I stay behind the wheel that entire time, maybe not.
Right.
like because Walmart does have programs, within the company that allow, the employees to, move around a bit. So if at any point, let's say I wanted to become like a coordinator or a operations manager or something, like they have tracks they can follow to do that.
Oh, cool.
So
you can go
if
back
you
to the warehouse and stuff or something like that.
yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. If I wanted to go work in a warehouse, or if I wanted to work, in the transportation division or asset protection or something like that, they have tracks for you to follow to kind of move around a bit. So
Mike,
I was considering doing that.
What's the turnover like there? I would imagine. So is this new hiring for the drivers? Is this to replace retirements and people that are leaving, or is a lot of this with growth to the Walmart DCs as well?
From what I've seen since I've been here, it's been a bit of both. We have a lot of guys that are retiring.
I'd imagine so.
Right?
Yeah.
So the matter of fact, the top guy that works at my DC, the top driver, his name's Bob. He's been with Walmart for a driver for Walmart for 32 years, I believe.
Wow.
Since Mr. Walt himself was around.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. And inside of our driver's lounge area, they have a board with everybody's picture up, and it's in order of seniority, and under their picture and their name is their hire date. And we got guys up on the board that were hired in the 80s.
Wow.
All through the 90s, the 2000s, and then a handful of guys that have been hired just recently.
40 years. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot of guys that are retiring. Unfortunately, there are some guys that they do pass away.
Yeah.
Which does happen from time to time, but most of it is just guys retiring. So since I've been hired on in July, I have I think 20 or 30 drivers under me already.
Wow.
In seniority because we're trying to expand.
So David mentioned your brother or your dad being in the industry. Do you have any other family members in the industry that are truck drivers?
I have a uncle who's he and my aunt drive together as a team sometimes.
Oh,
well. There you go.
Yeah. But other than the four of us, that's really it.
Go ahead, Mike. Go ahead. Sorry.
No. This is fine. Go ahead.
So I was going to ask you, tell us a little bit about yourself, Mike. Where did you grow up, and are you in that region right now, or how did you get where you're at today?
Yeah. What brought you to Utah?
Yeah, I was born and raised in Sacramento, California.
Okay, Sacktown.
Sacktown.
Yeah.
Sack them when you got them.
Yeah. Shout out to the 916.
Yeah. 916.
Yes, sir. So, I was born and raised there. Lived there basically my entire life, and then last February, so February 2021, I finally got out of there. Now, I decided to leave California 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But because of my own poor decisions, I was dragging my own feet and holding myself back from getting out of there. And then in January 2021, I was like, you know what, I'm done. I'm out of here. So I packed up and moved to the Salt Lake area, and I'm really happy that I did.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I say I'm happy I did. I was for the first few months until gas went from $2.29 to almost $3.29.
Yeah.
But other than that, living in Utah is just amazing. I just love pretty much everything about it.
Mike, if you've still got gas out there for $3.29, all three of us are coming out there.
Can you bottle that?
Get a tanker.
Well, it's like $4.60 something now, but I mean, when I moved there in February 2021, it was $2.29 a gallon.
So, Mike, growing up in Sacktown, I hate to ask this, are you a Raiders fan?
No, I'm not.
The Raiders.
There we go.
I was the only person that I knew who liked the team that I like, which growing up I got a lot of flack for.
Who is it?
Cowboys, my guess.
No.
The Rams?
Go ahead. We're not.
New England.
We're not.
The Niners.
No.
New England.
Oh my God.
New England Patriots.
Hang on.
Yeah. That's a bad word in Indianapolis.
Mike, it was a good talk.
I know.
Man.
It was a good talk while it lasted.
Yeah.
We'll
We'll see you later, Mike. It's nice having you.
I'm sorry.
All good. All good.
Oh man.
It's all
Dude,
good.
look. Like when I was growing up, man, the amount of times I had to say, I know. That's just
Dang it. So you.
cut me a little slack. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's all good. That's all
you
good,
love who
man.
you love, man.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean it doesn't come with us blowing you a little crap. You know?
Oh yeah.
So I'm a little envious
Believe
of
me,
you.
I'm used to it.
I'm a little envious of you, Mike, living out there in Utah. That's got to be such. Every day it has to be like a. Just a picturesque view every single day when you get out and go.
Yeah, absolutely. Living in the Salt Lake area, like where I am, since I'm on the southern side of Salt Lake, I have mountains to the east and west.
Wow.
And they are close. They're only, like maybe 5-10 miles away, and the mountains just tower over everything.
Do you hunt and fish out there, Mike? Because I hear the fishing and stuff like that's really great.
The fishing and hunting, I guess you'd say culture or community in Utah is really big.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, I haven't really partaken in that yet.
Yeah.
I don't really want to.
Being from Sacktown might not be up your alley, right?
No.
Yeah.
No.
So, Mike, are you a Utah Jazz fan, or do you like the Miami Heat or
Jazz.
something? Or
Yeah. Celtics. He's a Celtic fan.
I really haven't been really I haven't really been big into basketball for a long time.
Yeah. Since Jordan. Since Jordan.
Yeah, exactly. Like when I was growing up in the 90s, the Bulls were just where it was at the time.
did you go to any Kings games?
I hate the Bulls too, just so we're on
I
the
did,
same
actually.
page.
Did you got to go to some Kings games growing up?
Yeah, I did.
Probably Vlade was playing, and
Chris Webber. Wasn't Webber on that team?
Webber, Mike Bibby.
Yes, he was.
Bibby,
Yep.
yeah.
Mike Bibby,
From Arizona.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
White chocolate. Who's white chocolate?
The guard.
That was later in 2000s.
Was it John?
Okay.
Was it John? No.
White
Williams.
chocolate.
John Williams. Yeah. Williams.
Something Williams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Right.
Yeah.
So you probably saw some good Kings teams. Not really good, but decent, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Mike, we seriously didn't bring you on here to rip you for your sports teams.
Hey.
We're just trying to get to know you a little bit better or whatever.
So let me turn this around real quick to, you said Salt Lake is beautiful. When you're driving for Walmart and you're 5 on 2 off, basically, are you home
Jason Williams.
almost every night? To where you're at bed at night, or are you gone for the 5 days?
No, I'm usually gone for the 5 days.
He's gone, yeah.
It's just because how far I live from the DC that I work out of.
Mm-hmm.
So Walmart has a policy where you have to live within 250 miles of the DC you work out of.
That's a long haul. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like where I live, I'm not that far from the DC, but it's not close enough to really justify the commute home.
It's 3.5 hours.
You know.
So they pay for your hotel while you're out on the road, I assume, and your food and all that.
Well, if you get a hotel, and if getting a hotel was necessary, then yes. But Walmart does pay you to sleep on the truck.
Okay.
While you're out on the road.
So you have a sleeper cab.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that is nice.
You got a good setup in that thing, and I assume it's yours, right? Were you going to take things in and out?
Yeah, we do slip seat here, but Walmart is making moves to do everything that they can to limit how much you have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
You probably don't have to do that very often, though, do you, Mike?
No. The truck that I have is assigned to me.
Okay.
But I wouldn't say it's assigned to me. It's assigned to my schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So since I have the schedule, the truck that's assigned to that schedule is assigned to me, basically.
So I knew a guy that he would bid the oldest, nastiest truck ever to ensure no one would ever take it.
That's smart.
So when he's on vacation and things, no one would ever want to drive
That's
it.
sneaky smart.
He's like, it may be old and rusty, but this thing always starts and runs for me.
There we go.
And no one ever touches it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh yeah, smart. Yeah.
So, Mike, tell us a little bit about your family. You married with kids and all that, or is that a struggle for you not to see them?
No. Not married, no kids. I'm looking to do that in the future, but
Okay.
I want to get myself to a certain. I want to get myself to a certain place.
Mike's a
Before I start
player out there.
really-
Monday night, Tuesday night, picking up the ladies.
Hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, no,
So
it's all good. Yeah, we're not judging. All good.
and so in the future, yes. Right now, no.
So you're making bank right now, and then you'll worry about that other stuff later then, right?
Yes, sir.
That's a good game plan. I got to
like
give you
it.
credit on that.
Yeah,
I
yes.
gotta give you credit.
You're
Smart
listening
man.
to the Ships Gonna Happen podcast with Mike Lands, Walmart driver.
You want to get into our second topic?
Mike's got a story, right?
Yeah, Mike,
yeah.
tell us the
I forgot about
your
the story.
recent-
It's good stuff.
two things. Your recent video was good in the story you told. So if you could tell us that story again, and then secondly, you're more than welcome to stick around. We only have one topic, and that's the limiters, which you might have something to say about. That was the only thing we're going to cover today, and then then we're going to do random thoughts with David, which is just a kind of a funny thing that we do every week. So you're more than welcome to stay on after you tell the stories.
And before you tell us the story, tell us where we can find it at. So
Yeah, there you go. Good job.
Tell us where they can find this story at. 'Cause
Find you.
it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Okay. Yeah. You can find me on YouTube and also Facebook. I have a Facebook group as well, and it's called Safe and Sound Trucking.
Safe and sound trucking.
Okay.
Safe and Sound, yes, sir. So like I started that channel just a few months ago. I mean, I'm up over, I think 350 subscribers as of now.
Nice.
And then
Killing it.
the Facebook group I just started, and I just shouted it out in my last video, but I haven't. There's only like maybe 5 or 6 people in there right now. So as far as the story is concerned, man, it's one of my crazier ones. So a few months ago, I was in Colorado. I don't remember the highway that it is off the top of my head, but it goes through Pagosa Springs, if anybody's familiar with that area in Colorado. But I was driving through town, and you get to a point in town when you're going down kind of like the main thoroughfare through the city, and the road, if you're heading east, it curves pretty hard to the left. Like you got to slow down to like 15, maybe 10 miles an hour to make that turn. And as I make the turn, maybe about 100, 200 feet after you make the turn, there's a crosswalk that goes across the middle of the road, right? But there's no signal for that crosswalk. There's no lights to tell you to stop or anything. And as I make the turn and I'm straightening out, I see that there's a woman who's standing on my driver's side, so like to the left of me, and she's kind of maybe a fifth of the way to the crosswalk, and she's looking like she's waiting for traffic to kind of stop so she can go across since there's no light. So I see that she's trying to cross, so I start coming to a stop. And as I'm coming to a stop, I see that there's 2 guys that they're maybe teenagers, maybe late teens, early 20s, that are coming out onto the street a little bit closer to where I am, so a little bit further away from her, but closer to me. They're coming out into the street, but they're like jaywalking, like they're not going to use the crosswalk, but I'm driving past them as I approach the crosswalk. So I come to a stop, and the lady starts walking in front of me, and the guys that were walking out into the street kind of towards the middle of my truck, they were going around behind me. Mm-hmm. And I lost sight of them, and I wasn't really paying that much attention to them. And the lady walks across the crosswalk. She waves to say thanks. I wave back. She makes it to the other side. I start going again. And so I take off, and I'm driving through town, and about 200 feet past that crosswalk, there's an actual stoplight, and the light's green. So I just go straight through. Now, once you go through the light, the road curves to the right. Okay. Now, I start going through town, or I'm sorry, the rest of town, and I get out the other side of town. No problems, no more stoplights, no stop signs, nothing. And it's about another 2 miles to get out of town, and then about 2 miles outside of town, I start seeing flashing lights in my driver's side mirror. So I check it, and it's like a black GMC Yukon, and like an orange colored Toyota like Tacoma, like a pickup truck, and they're both flashing their lights at me. Now, usually when people are behind you and they're flashing their lights at you, that usually means that like there's something wrong with the trailer, you have a tire out or a light out or something like that. And so I'm like, okay, there must be something wrong. So I put on my blinker, I check my passenger side mirror to make sure that there's no cars between me and the shoulder, because I'm going to pull over. And when I look in the mirror, I see somebody looking back at me.
Whoa.
Jeez.
Wow. How fast are you going, Mike, do you think?
At this point, I'm going about 50.
Whoa.
50, 55 miles an hour, because I just got out of town. And as you leave town, the speed limit starts to slowly ramp up back up to freeway speed.
Sure.
Right? So, the first sign says 35, 45, 55, and then 65, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm already a couple miles outside town, so it's ramping back up to freeway speed. And so, I was going about 50, and so, like I said, I look in my mirror and there's someone looking back at me. And what it was, is that one of the guys that walked behind my trailer when I stopped at the crosswalk climbed onto the back of my trailer and was hanging on to it. So, I mean,
did he have a red suit on and a web on his hand named Spider-Man?
Spider-Man?
Yeah.
No.
Right.
No. So like, if you look at the back of a trailer, you have the ICC bumper down at the bottom with the red and white tape on there. So he was standing on that and holding on to the handle on the side of the trailer that you would use to help yourself climb up into the trailer. And so when I saw him hanging on the back of my trailer like that, the only reason I saw him is because he was leaning around the side of the trailer, looking up the length of my trailer. And of course, my reaction was, what the bleep?
Yes.
So I immediately start getting over on the shoulder, and I was going to slam on the brakes because I was like, what's going on? But I was like, no, if I slam on my brakes, he's probably going to go flying.
Yeah.
So I gently, put on the engine brakes, started downshifting, and slowly came to a stop. And the second I came to a stop and popped the brakes, he jumps off the back and started sprinting back towards town. So I didn't get a chance to really get a real good look at him or talk to him or anything and see what his issue was. And it wasn't until I jumped out of the truck and went running back there, to make sure that the like trailer hadn't been tampered with or anything like that, or like he hadn't cut the lock or something like that. It wasn't until I jumped out and went back there that I noticed that I recognized him, that he was one of the guys that was back there in town. Right. So
real quick, when you saw him look at you in the passenger side mirror, and I don't know people out there, but when you're passing a truck, you can see a truck driver's eyes. If you look at their mirrors and they see you, you see them. Did he notice that you were seeing him? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Was there eye contact there? Was he realizing that?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It was weird. So like the reason that it caught me so off guard is because like at the time I couldn't think of where this person could have jumped on my truck because I've been moving nonstop. But then I had to think of that one time that I did stop in town. Right. But as I said, right after that crosswalk, there's a light there. And so what I'm thinking is that he jumped on thinking that light was going to be red or something. He could jump back off.
It was a joke.
But the light was green, and I kept going. Now this guy didn't have the guy didn't have like a backpack or anything. So like he wasn't like some guy trying to hitch a ride.
Right.
It was a joke that his buddy probably dared him. I bet you won't jump on the back of that truck.
They probably do it a lot. They may do it a lot.
Exactly. So
Mike, would you have freaked out if it would have been the lady?
Yeah, for sure. So, and part of the reason that it freaked me out so much was that, sorry, I had
You're fine.
You're fine.
You're good.
But the reason it caught me off guard so much is that, I looked in that mirror multiple times before I saw him, and I was like, where in the world could this guy have gotten on my truck? Because remember I said that after I went through the light, the road curves to the right.
Right. Yeah. Because
and like as I was going around that turn, I had to check my passenger side mirror, to make sure that my trailer tires weren't going to get too close to the curb as I was making that turn. And I remember very, 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 very specifically, there was a couple that was on my passenger side. They were walking down the sidewalk.
Yeah,
they're holding hands. I don't know why it stuck out. I remember the girl had red hair.
Okay.
Like, that's the only thing I remember about them, except for they were holding hands.
Was her name Jen Psaki?
I hope not. But I saw them walking on the curb, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to get over a little bit more to the left because, for one, I don't want my tires to hit the curb, but I also don't want to get too close to them and scare them.
Yeah.
So I'm going to move over just a little bit more to the left. So I'm looking at that mirror and I'm watching the back of my trailer. As I'm split, kind of split my attention a little bit between my mirror and the road in front of me to make sure I don't hit, anything in front of me, or I don't hit the curb or that couple. So I remember checking the mirror and I did see him hanging off the back. So it wasn't until I got out of town that people, and the funny thing is that, the actual town of Pagosa Springs, it's a little bit of a tourist kind of town. So there's a lot of activity in that town. There's a lot of shops, a lot of restaurants, a lot of bars, all that stuff. So there's a lot of people out there, which means a lot of people probably saw that guy on the back of the trailer. As I was driving through town, seeing a Walmart truck,
right.
some guy hanging on the back of the trailer, and they're like, "Oh my Lord, what is going on here?"
Yeah.
I told you, honey, that was the real Spider-Man I saw.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So, like I said, the guy jumped off and ran back towards town. So like the black Yukon that was flashing me when I pulled over, they just kept going. But that orange Tacoma that pulled over, they actually pulled up in front of me, turned back around, and went, started facing back towards the other way. And when I jumped out, they're like, "Hey, you saw that guy on the back of your trailer, right?" And I was like, yeah, for sure. And they were like, "Okay, we just want to make sure. But do you want us to go run him over?" I was like, no, please don't do that. And they're like, okay, fine, and it just sped back off towards town.
We should have looked at him and said, "No, we were in a bad fight. I told him I wanted a divorce."
Yeah, there you go.
Might have been his parents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
So how old do you think he was, Mike? Teenage years, probably?
Yeah. Maybe somewhere 16 to 19, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
And lucky to be alive.
I double dog dare you. That's probably what was the last thing he heard.
So this guy didn't want to pull the arm down to get you to blow the horn. He wanted to go for a truck ride, right?
Yeah, he wanted to go for a little adventure. Yeah.
So where's the next spot you stop? So let's say these people don't flash you. How far of a trip would this guy had to go?
Yep, that's something that crossed my mind that night, was that if he hadn't jumped off, he would have gone all the way with me to Wolf Creek, Colorado, which is just over a pass, probably 50 miles.
He may not have made it.
He would have never made it.
Wouldn't have made it.
50, 60 miles probably, yeah.
Which is probably an hour and 15 minutes for a truck.
What's the weather temperature out at this time, Mike?
Well, it was a little bit on the colder side, but the reason I was going to stop in Wolf Creek was because there wasn't really anywhere else to stop past that, and I was running. I was already running a little bit low on my hours.
Oh,
and so I wanted to get over Wolf Creek Pass, before it started snowing that night. So I was in a bit of a hurry.
Oh my gosh!
And like, if you guys don't know anything about Wolf Creek Pass,
no, I don't.
Wolf Creek Pass is a switchback, and it's like I think it's like a 7 or 8% grade. And like over the course of like 5 to 10 minutes maximum, you go from about 6,000 to about 11,000 foot elevation.
Oh,
Holy
nice.
cow.
Yeah, he'd been rolling
It's
down
dead.
like Dumbo, boy.
Yeah.
He'd been-
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, exactly. So it's you basically climb up the side of a mountain over the course of like 5 minutes, and you go way up in elevation and down the other side. So I wanted to get over that before it started snowing.
So
Or else I'd have to throw chains on.
more than anything, he was probably scared poopless or whatever. I mean, when you finally stopped, that's why he probably took off running.
Yeah. It's like this guy's going to
Yeah,
get
for
you.
sure.
So, Mike, let me ask you one quick question about the trailers and security on them. Do any of the Walmart trailers have any video on the back of the trailer?
Not that I know of.
Okay, I just wondered about that.
Yeah, not that I know of. I mean, like we have a policy where we always keep our trailers locked.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's mandatory. Whether it's loaded or empty, there's always a lock on it.
Right.
So I mean, if I remember correctly, the trailer that I had, I don't remember if I was loaded or not, but I definitely went back there to check and make sure he didn't
Yeah, sure.
tamper with it or anything like that. But he hadn't. He just hopped on for a ride.
And the ICC bumper smelled like ammonia because he pissed all over himself. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Man, that's a good story, though. Thanks for sharing it with us.
Good or scary? I don't even know what that story is.
Yeah.
It's just what a driver can encounter, right?
But you see that crap on like movies, right? Where they hitch a ride and this or that.
Crawling
it's
on
not
top.
that easy to be holding on the
Oh,
back
I
of a
don't think
trailer.
so. Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. It's
Especially
I've had some weird stuff happen out on the road. I've had some stupid stuff happen out on the road. I mean, a few years ago, back in I think 2017, I was doing a delivery for another company in Berkeley, California, not too far from UC Berkeley. So I mean, you can imagine the type of people that are walking around there.
Yep.
But
Yes.
So I'm sitting at a stoplight, and I'm waiting for it to turn green. And as it turns green, I take my foot off the brake, and I'm about to start rolling. And I see in my passenger side mirror, just at the corner of my eye, I see movement, and I check it real quick. And there's a student who came off the sidewalk, crouched down, and squat walked underneath my trailer.
What?
Man.
What?
Jesus,
What
dumbass.
are we doing?
Right. Gosh.
He didn't want to walk the extra 40 feet to the crosswalk and wait. So
Lazy.
he decided to walk under my trailer just as I was about to start moving as well.
Wow.
It's laziness, right?
Well, and
Yeah.
he's a dumbass too.
Yeah.
He could have.
You never get underneath one of those
He's a
trailers.
David
Yeah,
just said
it
it.
was
Fast and
It's
the
what he
Furious.
is.
This ain't Fast and
Dumbass.
Furious where you can get a Honda underneath it. Is that how it works?
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff, man.
And the worst part is that when I saw that, I was dumbfounded at first, and he came out the other side, looked left, looked right, and then looked back down at his phone, and then kept walking like towards the sidewalk. I blew my horn at him. He looked up, flipped me off, and went back to his phone and kept walking.
Whoa.
Oh, the nerve.
Yeah.
That was
I was
his
like,
way,
"Ugh."
that's his way of saying thank you for not hitting the gas. That was his way of saying that.
Yeah. And like after that, I was like, I got to get out of this city.
Yeah.
Oh, so, yeah. There's like tons and tons and tons of stories like that. But anybody that's been on the road for just a few years is going to start having stories like that.
Yeah. So you're listening to the Ship's Gonna Happen show on this Saturday morning, and we've got Mike Lands on the hook with us this morning. And Mike, one of the things that we do on this show is, I mean, we're still a very young podcast, and we have our own little Hall of Fame, HAUL of Fame. And this morning we would like to induct Mike Lands into our Ship's Gonna Happen Hall of Fame.
Congratulations, Mike. That's awesome. Welcome to the Hall of Fame.
Those stories,
Guys, I appreciate
those
that.
stories alone, Mike, that you have are well worth inducting you in today. So those have been some great stories, and we appreciate that.
So I misspoke.
I appreciate it.
So Mike, I misspoke earlier on our topics. We only have one topic, which was the speed limiters, and then David's random thoughts. So do you want to stick around with us on that? We're just gonna kind of some soft subjects here. You interested in sticking around? We'd like to have you stick around.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
Not a problem.
Good.
All right, so we'll get into topic number one.
Oh.
Whoa, hey.
Well,
Hey,
we're
we
just
got a
gonna
little
go through
changing
the
the
gauntlet
bag,
of
yeah.
Tony
buttons.
B, the scribble master.
Hey,
There
David,
we
son,
go. Ta-ta.
bring it to us. Speed limiters. All right, and then Mike, you jump in because you're the expert on this stuff, right? So So the Federal Motor Carriers Administration issued a notice of intent last week, which was they want to set the speed limits in trucks back down to the low 60s, right? So we've been kind of, in, 70, 65, 68. Some of them are set at. So it looks like they want to set them down in the low 60s. Mike might be a good guy to talk to about this because of what going up hills and down hills and things like that. But the ATA's position is they are opposed to it. So the American Trucking Association is opposed to it. They like to see it set at 70. So what comes next is it's a 30-day period where they let it go through, and then they're going to, it's not anticipated to drop until 2023. So they'll let 2022 discuss it. And so that's kind of the position on it. American Trucking Association, a big organization. They are opposed to it. The Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, which, is obviously looking to secure the safety of our roads out there, but they also do the hours and rules of hours and all that stuff. So just throw it out to you guys. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, so Tony, when you were reading that story, was the main purpose behind this safety, or was it fuel cost, or was it both?
I think it's safety. They said the main thing.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't know.
It's always, you say safety and everybody's like, oh, we got to do it.
I mean, it seems like they're already governed down to
65, 68.
Every company has their own regulations,
right, exactly.
Whether it's a 62, 65. I think you got to go. I think it's more of a safety hazard if you don't go with the flow of traffic.
That's what I think.
So I get you want to restrict it. So the common listener out there, there's governors on just like your car has a governor, right? It may say 140. If you're like me, I don't encourage this, but every vehicle I've ever owned, I always max it out. Find a governor. Mm-hmm. My Ford F-150 is 103, just so we're on the same page, even though it said it was 140. Yeah. My 91 Nissan Maxima never had a governor. I went 140 around 465. So now,
nor did my motorcycle.
So every truck has a governor, and typically your company will regulate that depending on where it is. A lot of those tractors, whether it's line haul, as in long haul, or city trucks, it all depends on what your company regulates. Now, independents do what they want to do, and Mike can probably speak to what Walmart does, but in my opinion, like where Mike's at right now in Idaho, it's probably 75 mile an hour, 80 mile an hour.
Yeah, it might be 80. What is it, Mike?
Might be 80 out there as well.
Yeah. There are. In certain areas, in certain areas it's 80. Some areas it's 75, 70.
But it's so wide open out there that you can run that and be safe.
Mm-hmm. There's 10 people in the two.
And I think that at one point, I get the safety, but you've trained these drivers to be professional like Mike. Yeah. It is their job to handle their rig. If they need to go 70, allow them to go 70. Mm-hmm. At some point, there's overstep, and in my opinion, allow the operator to control his or her rig to a safe speed.
Government overstep.
And you see regular speed limit signs, and you see truck speed limit signs. Mm-hmm. That's the governor. And if they're breaking the law, then they need to be enforced that way, not by the governor on the truck, because someone not necessarily Mike's shoes, but there's people that get paid by the miles. And if they want to push the 70, 75 mile an hour speed limit that's posted, allow them to do that to get their money.
And that's a good point, Tim, because a lot of these trucks have digital technology inside that can tell them when they're speeding, right? Yep, right. So, so it's not like you got to govern it on the highway postage at, whatever.
So, Mike, what are your Walmart trucks governed down to a certain speed?
They are. Now, I don't know if it's different in any other region, but from what I understand, they're all governed at 65.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
So I remember I got in trouble when I was a city manager at one point in my career. I went into the shop and I said to the manager, I said, listen, I need this truck moved. Mm-hmm. It was governed at 62. 74 was a 70 mile an hour zone. It's a safety hazard with everyone running up on his butt.
Oh, yeah.
On his way out towards Crawfordsville and Danville, Illinois. It's a safety hazard. That ICC bumper, lucky it's there, right? Mm-hmm. You become a hazard at some point. And he just wanted up to 65. He didn't ask for anything crazy, you know. He's like, well, you know, I got to get special permission from this and that, all the way from the top down. And I was like, are you kidding? I'm talking about 3 mile an hour difference.
Right.
And I get the safety behind it, but it's a city truck, but he's running line haul miles.
Yep.
So I didn't just say, hey, take a line haul, you know. Shame on me. But I didn't feel he wasn't in city route running, if that makes sense. And Mike, do you like the governor? I mean, does that help keep you on pace, or is it something where you think that you have the expertise to be free to do what you need to do?
Okay, so I will say this: you guys already did give a little disclaimer at the beginning of the show during your intro, but I just wanted to give one more.
Yeah, go ahead.
Like what I'm going to say is my opinion.
Yeah.
And my opinion alone.
Sure.
Right.
Yep.
It doesn't represent Walmart, any of their customers, affiliates, or subsidiaries. Okay. So, in my opinion, I'm not a fan of the governors. I understand why they have them. In my opinion alone, it's really for 2 reasons: 1 for safety, and 2 for insurance costs.
I didn't think about that. That's brilliant, Mike. Yeah, insurance is huge.
Didn't think about that either.
Yeah, I mean now there are certain companies that are they're basically privately insured. Self-insured.
Yeah.
Yep, self-insured.
Right? So, it might be a little bit different, but I know there's a lot of places that they're trying to keep their insurance costs down, so they govern the trucks because they don't want you going too fast, which could lead to an unsafe situation, which could cost them a lot of money in the long term.
Right.
But not only that, if someone's driving like they're not supposed to, being out of control, it can cost someone or a lot of people their lives.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Which is a very, very bad thing. And not only to mention that, if you're if you don't govern the trucks, drivers are more likely to go over the speed limit, right?
Yeah.
And which is going to get them tickets, which is also going to raise that company's CSA score as well.
No, yeah, they got to as a large company, and that's why I said my company is we're 62, and. And you're right. And I never thought about, the millions of dollars probably saved by just insurance alone.
Oh, sure.
If you govern your trucks at this mile per hour, I'll go ahead and give you this price versus that price. And you're right, Mike. You've been around the business. There's always, what is it, 10% rule, right? You always got 10%. And there's reasons why there's rules and regulations and safety metrics put in place because, believe it or not, as the commercial says, we've seen a thing or two. Right? Like someone has done that, gone up and beyond, and it's cost millions and trillions of dollars, billions of dollars behind the fact. So you have to have the governor. So I agree with that. Yeah. My personal opinion, again, I'm just like you, Mike. Like that's the thing about this show is we don't represent any company. It's all personal opinions outside of clock in, clock out. So I don't like the federal government trying to regulate that. Let the carriers themselves or the providers, whoever, regulate their own trucks and what they think is safe. That's my opinion.
Now, I did want to say one more thing on that. As far as regulation and all that stuff is concerned, and I understand the need for some level of regulation. Anyone who's been out here on the road for more than a day has probably seen a driver do something stupid behind the wheel.
Oh yeah.
Okay. The amount of times that I've been out on the road and I've seen a guy that's a member of what I call the white Volvo gang doing something stupid.
Yeah. Hey, that describes us 3 perfectly.
Yeah. So like the amount of times I've seen guys doing something stupid like I don't know, having their feet up on the dash.
Oh yeah,
driving.
that's silly.
Yeah.
Oh,
I've driven by guys. I've passed guys. I've gotten over in the left lane, passed a guy, and he has his laptop strapped to the dash, and he's watching a movie while he's driving.
Oh, jeez.
Stuff like that, or go in 80 and a 60. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand the need for regulation because some people shouldn't be behind the wheel. And if they do something stupid, there should be some kind of regulation in place to actually punish them for doing what they're doing.
Yep.
Because like I said, they're not only putting their record at risk, they're putting the company's property at risk, they're putting their own lives at risk, and they're putting the public's life at risk. which is an absolute no-no.
Very well said.
Yes, Mike. I'm in my head. I'm referring to you as the voice of reason. So we need you back on the show more often, just to literally be the voice of reason for the show. You make such great points that we never even would think of. So great job.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Absolutely.
The voice of reason. So, hey, anything else on that real quick before we get out of it?
I'd like to see how it plays out this year.
Yeah, I would like to
what
see how it
happens.
plays out too.
Okay.
Maybe companies take their own initiative and say, you know what, we're going to start regulating our own.
Yeah.
We're going to move down just for you.
Hey, I actually did have one more thing to add about the governors.
Sure.
As far as the speed governors are concerned, a lot of drivers aren't big fans of them. I'm not personally a big fan of them, but like as far as having a governor in the truck is concerned, it's not really that much of an issue. It's what speed it's governed to.
Right.
Is what the issue is, because being governed at 65 is a really inconvenient speed to be governed at, because lot of companies. Oh, I'm sorry. I was saying that 65 miles an hour, in my opinion, is a very inconvenient speed to be governed at.
Gotcha.
Sure. Again,
and it's because so many other companies are governed at 65. You're constantly stuck behind people all day. Mm-hmm. And if that person's going 65, there's nothing you can do. All you can do is slow down, back off. But like what I run into every single day is like someone that's going 64 and a half. Yep. They're going so slow that I have to slow down to back off, but they're going fast enough that I can't get around them and pass them. And it just causes headaches all day. For me personally, 68 will be better, because I'm not fast enough to pass the guys that are going 70, but I'm fast enough to pass the guys that are going 65.
Well, speaking of the month of May and what he's talking about, Indy cars, that's why they have the push to pass on their steering wheels. So they have the torque just like all these engines. So for the common listener out there, don't be mad when a truck's trying to pass another truck and it gets out on a headwind and it can't get there. It's because it's governed out. And as Mike is describing, they're both governing at the same thing. Right. The other guy needs to slow down a little bit, let that guy go. But that's beside the point. But don't get frustrated. That truck can only do so much.
That's a good point.
Indy 500 push to pass. Maybe they need a push to pass button. And
give them a little juice.
Every 500 miles, you only get 2.5 minutes worth of push to pass. You got to make your decision when you want to use it.
Yeah.
Driving over here every Saturday morning. I'm a 5 mile an hour and over guy. I just set the cruise at 5 miles.
Yeah.
In the last, I'm going to say
You're
2 or 3 years.
You're breaking a citizen.
I am. But I tell you what, I'm getting blown off of the road.
Oh, yeah. People are out there driving 80, 90 mile an hour.
Every day blown off the road.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Yeah. I was driving 75, 80 to Florida, man. There's people passing me 90, 100. I mean, couldn't believe it.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
But
it is what it is. So.
But yeah, Mike, hey, thanks for your comments on that. It makes sense. And the only thing that's odd to me is that the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration could set the speed, but the company, it's up to the company actually too, right? They can set it lower. So that's kind of interesting. But.
Well, I mean, this is just my opinion. Doesn't represent anybody else, just me.
Yeah.
So organizations like the FMCSA do a lot of good, but this seems like another one of those things where they're just trying to justify their jobs.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah,
where they're where they're, in my opinion, just looking for things to do to make themselves seem busy. Yeah. It's like if you work in an office and you're sitting in a cubicle and you're playing on your phone, and your boss peeks around the corner, you throw your phone in the corner, and you grab some papers and like, oh, hey, look at me, I'm busy.
Yeah,
look at me. It really seems like one of those things.
Yeah.
David B does that every day.
I do that every day. Yeah. It feels like I do that every day.
You remember the NCAA fake spreadsheet?
Yeah.
I always thought that was funny.
Excel sheet on top of the basketball games.
That was great.
So when it comes to federal regulations, I'm not a big fan, because they, it's like they'll do A, B, and C, and they'll say, okay, we're done. And then, you go to the bathroom and come back and you're already D through G, and you're like, whoa.
Sure.
Like you said you're only going to do A through C. Like, yeah, but, we decided that we're going to do D through G. And you're like, okay, you're going to leave it at G, right?
Yeah.
Promise? Yep. Scouts honor. We promise we won't go past G. and then in a week you're already at S,
Right.
TUV, and you're like, oh, come on. So it's not going to stop there. They're going to say limiters, and then they're going to say that trucks can only be a certain color, and then it'll be
white or
it's
yellow.
just on and on. Yeah.
Well, Mike, thanks for your comments here. We're going to go into David's random thoughts. David B.
So, Ship's Gonna Happen show on Saturday morning. So, out on. So, Mike, what you don't know about the three of us is we're kind of, I wouldn't say full blown alcoholics, but we're definitely drinkers or whatever. And so we don't condone drinking and driving or anything. But last night I was out with a group of buddies, and one of my friends, he knows I don't take any vacation time, but it actually gave me a really good question of if you guys had a chance to go away for vacation anywhere, all expenses paid, and not worry about any repercussions or about worrying about the money you're going to spend, where would you guys, we'll start with Mike, where would you guys want to go for like a 1 week vacation where you've probably never been, and just to kind of get away from it all?
Afghanistan.
Okay. What can you explain? No. Okay.
I didn't think that was real, right?
It's beautiful there.
Well, yeah. 1 week. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, with all expenses paid, you don't have to worry about the cost. If there was just somewhere you could go to get away for 1 week and be left the hell alone, no phone, no whatever, and just kind of take in where you're at.
Oh, wow. Okay, so I was going to say somewhere else, but it's just a place to get away and like leave my mind.
Yeah.
Just relax. Okay. Ooh, wow.
Indianapolis is available.
Oh man. To get away, honestly, I'd say probably either like Norway or Sweden.
Okay. Wow.
Oh, nice.
Like rural Norway. I don't mean like in like Oslo or something.
Right.
Like out.
If you go to Sweden, would you like to visit one of the adult clubs?
No.
Amsterdam.
But no, I mean, like to get out in the country.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I mean, the fjords out there are amazing. I've always wanted to see those in person. And like the beautiful mountain ranges and stuff. I'd really like to go see something like that for a week, alone, no phone, no internet. Just get away from it all for a while.
Great answer. That's a good answer. Timmy D, returning Timmy D. How about you? Do you got
I don't have an answer. I mean, I guess I would take the money to pay for the second week off and not do anything. But so I could go multiple ways. So kind of like it's all paid for, do whatever the heck you want. I wouldn't mind getting in the middle of a drug cartel safely protected in like Chapo's thing to see how they do things. I'm interested in that stuff. Like that's crazy to me, right? It's mind blowing.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always been interested in like the dolphin Alaska trip. You know what I mean? A big boat trip type deal. It has to be warm though.
Yeah.
One thing I would like just an all-inclusive. I've never done an all-inclusive like beach. So like the Dominican.
That's what I was going to say.
One of those islands down there, Jamaica, something like that. I think would be pretty cool where the water is so clear you can see the bottom. Then again, I don't think I'd get in it because I don't like fish touching my feet. I would probably lose my mind. Okay. So, I don't know, man. I really don't. West Virginia? Look at the shirt I got on today. West Virginia.
I see that.
Nice shirt.
South Charleston, West Virginia.
Nice.
I like that.
Good stuff.
Tony B, what about you?
Probably go to St. Lucia Island.
St.
Lucia,
saw that.
All inclusive. We've been there one time for a wedding. We didn't pay for it, fortunately. The wedding party paid for us to fly there. Was a week all inclusive. Man, it was like get out of your hotel room on the first floor and swim to the bar. You the whole pool was like
Is
4
that the
foot
one with, like,
deep.
the houses that you walk around?
Yeah,
It's like just see through water.
Unbelievable. Yeah. And the people there are so nice.
I think I've saved it on my phone because I saw it. I was like, that looks absolutely amazing.
It was incredible.
Wow. Yeah.
Met some people down there that we're still friends with. We talk to them occasionally. I will say this. The plane flight there will be memorable. in maybe not a good way, right? It's packed, dude, and it's just, oh my God.
You talking about the jumper plane to get to it?
Oh, I hated that. I'd rather have gotten a boat and freaking cruised on in a boat, which would have took probably half a day. But
you hated it because were you claustrophobic or was it the people?
It was just the breathing. It's so hot down there, dude. That they don't see air. They don't see air conditioning like we do, right? Like they're used to it being hot, and they get the winds or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, it's the winds. It's cool." And I'm like, "No, it's the winds and it's hot."
Yeah,
right.
It's a hairdryer in my face.
So the plane ride was just packed. They pack them in there. That was the worst part of it. Then you land on one side of the island, and you have to take a cab to the other side of the island to the resort. And that's interesting, man, because this island, all it grows is bananas. That's it. Bananas from the time you get off the plane to the time you go to the resort, all the way back. I mean, I didn't realize, but they're like one of the biggest banana producers in the nation, and they grow a high citrus orange that cleaning products use.
Okay.
And so, it'll eat through rust, whatever. And but man, it was like the most memorable place I'd ever been, even in the military. Like it was better than any of those, right? And it was just absolutely beautiful, and the people there were incredibly nice. So I'll tell you this real quick about that. One of the memorable part is one of the shirts I have came from their store.
One of your Hawaiian shirts?
Yeah. So what happened was I bought a roll of chew with me on the flight. Well, they're not used to seeing roll of chews, so they held my bags, right? So then I had to go get my bags. So actually, I take that back. I had to go to the hotel lobby to get my bags and talk to somebody. They were like, "It's tobacco, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." So then my bags didn't make it in time for the wedding. So this place was so incredibly nice that they said, "We're going to let you wear what we have in our store," which they had nice stuff. Sure. And so I was like probably the nicest dressed guy. Yes, they just gave it to me, and it was incredible. And their biggest saying there was, "No worries, man. No worries, man. No problem. No worries. No problem. No worries."
Okay.
It was just unbelievable. I mean, awesome. I had a vodka and Grey Goose and cranberry waiting for me constantly. It was just like, because I was tipping them because we didn't really pay for anything. It was just like, because also I was a rich guy with some money, and it was just like, it was just unbelievable. And then I made friends with one of the guys that worked there, and we still email to this day. They come to Indianapolis. They only came once.
Let's get him on the show someday.
Yeah, well, we could do that.
Just thinking.
But that was unbelievable.
What do you got, David B?
Oh, well, so the two of you know that my first response would be West Virginia.
Yeah,
but
beautiful.
I when Tracy and I got married, we honeymooned in San Francisco, and then we took a week to drive the coast north home.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
I think I would like to. No.
Oh, the coast.
Yeah, the coast, not the interstate. I would do that.
Highway 1.
Yeah,
Highway 1.
You're right, Mike. I would kind of do that, start in San Diego and go all the way up and just take some time and just to kind of take in the ocean view and the mountains and do that again. Not quickly. Do it slow and kind of, as long as I didn't have to come back to a week's worth of emails and some other crap.
That's what I said. I'd take mine and buy a second week.
Yeah, I know. So, all right. So let's go into topic 2. I have 2 today. So, again, Mike, if you don't want to answer any of these questions, then that's fine too. So what's your, Mike, if you're a drinker, do you have like a drunk go-to food, like a pizza or something after some beers, just to kind of, do you have that one drunk go-to food?
Well, I'm not really a big drinker.
Okay.
Actually, when I was first planning on moving to Utah, like I actually believed the rumors that there were no liquor stores up here, which there are, but they're run by the state.
Wow.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
Interesting fact.
As far as I know, there are no privately owned liquor stores in the state of Utah. So I was under the impression that I wouldn't be able to get any booze while I was up here. So I stopped in Nevada on my way along I-80. I actually stopped in Wendover. And I bought a few bottles of vodka, a few bottles of rum. And in the year and a half that going on a year and a half that I've been living up here, I only went through a half of one of the bottles.
Wow.
So,
There you go.
I'm really not a big drinker, but back in the day when I was, years ago when I was, after I had turned 21.
Right.
In your
Uh,
prime.
Yes.
Yeah, like when I was drinking regularly, honestly, either Mexican or Italian.
There we go.
Those two, especially. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it, but there's a thing that's real popular out in California. It's called carne asada fries.
Carne asada fries.
Yeah, and so you guys have never heard of that before?
No.
So is it just carne asada on top of fries that are melted? Like
Okay,
a loaded fry?
okay. So what it is they'll take one of those, one of those like styrofoam trays or whatever,
Yep.
and they'll fill up the bottom, like just pile it up with French fries, and they'll put diced carne asada all over it,
Ooh.
and then they'll just cover it in cheese.
That sounds nice.
And then put sour cream and guacamole and salsa on it, and man, like after you've had a few, sitting down and just stuffing your face with all that carne asada, and you get the carbs from the fries and cheese, so it's really, really, really good.
Can we get through one show without somebody saying guacamole? 'Cause for God's sake,
That's Tim's middle name.
There's a backstory here. Tim is the guacamole champion, so and very good guacamole. So Tim makes a mean guac, and we've had a couple contests, and he's won both of them. So deservedly so.
Yeah.
So that's what the guacamole reference is. Timothy, what do you got? Do you have a?
Now he's gonna be thinking about carne asada tacos.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that's my favorite. I'd probably do carne asada tacos before I do pizza. When I'm drunk, I don't give a daggone. I'm eating anything there is.
Yeah.
Anything that doesn't move or walk.
There's a meme out there that says, "I'm sorry that I ate a half a bag of chips while I look in the pantry for what I want next."
Yeah, right.
Anything but salad. I probably do salad. I tell you what, sushi drunk I'll eat sushi drunk and I love it.
Okay.
Wow.
So there you go.
Tony B.
And the question is, what's your go-to
Drunk food.
pizza?
Okay. Yeah. That's probably
Pepperoni
easy.
pizza couldn't taste any better than on a little buzzer, right?
So all the times that the three of us go out, Tracy thinks that we eat the entire time, and I go, rarely do we eat. It's about drinking or whatever. So when I get home, I'm starving or whatever. So I think pizza might be that.
So she's like, "You're hungry again?"
Yeah. She goes, "Don't tell me you've been out drinking for 7 hours and didn't eat a thing." I go, "That's pretty much what happened." So when I get home,
True.
Yeah,
exactly
yeah,
true.
Testimonies.
So, yeah, she goes, I think you're lying. I go, why would I be lying? I said, why? Like last night when I got home, very, very late. I'm like, why isn't there a pizza? And she goes, you should have eaten while you were gone. I go, we were out drinking. We weren't out eating. So.
That's right. There's a difference.
Yes, that's exactly right. So that's all I got for random thoughts
Mike
today.
with
Awesome.
Safe and Sound.
Yes.
Find him on Google, YouTube. He says he's out there. Mike, you've been awesome, man. Appreciate you joining us.
We need
dude.
Mike to give us a Mike can.
Mike, can you give us a? This is Mike Lands. You're listening to Ship's Gonna Happen.
Yeah. This is Mike Lands, and you're listening to Ship's Gonna Happen.
I like it.
Nice.
Well done.
Thank you,
Well
Mike.
done, Mike. Mike, before the end of the year, would you be willing to come back onto the show?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Can you do us if you want to, or if you're interested, can you do us a favor and give us a shout out next time you're on YouTube or something?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I was already planning on doing that.
Awesome. Well, good deal, man. It's been an extreme pleasure having you on the show today.
And Mike will have. Go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say I appreciate you guys having me on, man. I really do.
Awesome, Mike. I'll have the show probably out tonight or no later by in the morning, and then I got your number. I could text you the link, and obviously it'll be on YouTube. And we use Buzzsprout that takes it to all the platforms. So, but I'll send you that.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I will. After you send it, I'm gonna repost it in my Facebook group.
Awesome.
And then when I make my next video, I'll give you guys a shout out.
Oh yeah, awesome.
The voice of reason, Mike Lands.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, I like that.
Seriously,
yeah,
he's awesome.
You've been one of my favorite. Not that I don't like them all, but I do. You've been one of my favorite people that we've interviewed. David, thanks for getting him set up. Appreciate it.
No, thank you, Mike.
Yeah, and Mike, man, you were awesome, and wish you all the safety out there and growth. And thanks for being on the show. We really appreciate it.
Awesome, guys. Awesome.
If you're ever,
I really enjoyed it.
If you're ever coming through Indy, Mike, give us a shout, please.
Absolutely.
If I can get out that far, absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you, sir.
Hey, Mike, you have a
All right,
great
guys.
day, sir. Yep.
You too.
Okay.
Guys, take it easy, all right?
Yep. Bye.
Bye.
All right, you're listening to Ship's Gonna Happen. That was awesome.
That was very good.
And we have
Good show,
disconnected.
boys. Ship's gonna happen.
There we
All
go.
Happy Saturday, everybody.
Transportainment.
Boom. Boom.